what they see before they ever read a word is going to determine whether or not they leave.
We are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the High Level Spotlight Sessions, where we showcase awesome marketers doing awesome marketing. Today, I am joined by Wayne Daniels Jr. He is the founder of Conversion Culture Media. He's also a branding strategist, a signature funnel designer, and business mentor. Wayne, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here, so I appreciate it.
I'm super happy to have you on. I feel like we don't talk about design very much. We usually talk about strategy and things like that. So it's nice to have a creative on the show. I think you've gotten a lot of attention lately showcasing some of your designs in the group. Really nice looking landing pages. Tell us about it. How'd you get started? Are you a graphic designer? How did all this get going?
Yeah, that honestly started off as a graphic designer several years ago. I was a photographer. I am a photographer, videographer, graphic design. Started off doing like flyers and postcards for businesses like 20 years ago, right out of high school.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm telling my age. And it was fun. I always enjoyed designing. I was terrible at it when I first started, but that's part of it's part for the course.
Yeah.
So, started designing postcards, flyers. I did work with music artists, like CD covers and things like that. And eventually it graduated into doing websites for people, started doing music videos and that type of stuff. So eventually, as internet marketing became more popular, it was kind of like a natural progression, getting into marketing from that arena. I don't know, it's weird. I didn't really jump in the design side of marketing. I jumped in with everybody else. Like, I need to be a marketer. And so the design part didn't come along really, really well until quite a bit later.
Nice. Well, now you've sort of found your niche, huh?
Yeah, it was interesting. Like I went into coaching. I do coaching. I do funnel builds for people and help out other like coaches, consultants, and blah blah blah, all the good marketing stuff. I've made a lot of people a lot of money, so I'm pretty good at my job. I do ads. I went and did the whole Facebook ads, and you took this course and that course, and you joined this, and
sure.
I did well for them. I didn't make a lot of money a lot of times, throughout the journey. So it was a struggle. It was up and down here and there. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it. I think Gary Vee harps on this a lot, as creative is one of the most important variables of a campaign, right? Like,
yes.
We can all build the same sort of claim something, book something, but within that flow, there is a lot of variables, and one of them is what is on the page, what is in the ad. And so when we were getting ready for the show, and I asked you, like, what would be your top tips when it comes to landing page design, your first one was imagination, think outside the box. Can you talk about that?
Oh, period. Design and marketing is like the last piece of the puzzle. Nobody really thinks of it. The idea is just to get the funnel up, get it working, get an offer. We have all our our lingo that we use. You got to have an offer, you got to have this, you got to have that. But nobody really looks at what do people see before they read a word. What do they feel before they ever hear you say anything? So imagination, thinking outside of the box is key. Like, even how all of this kind of blew up. I've been building funnels for years, but it just did not click for a long time. I started probably with this whole pandemic. Everybody was struggling. Everybody was on the internet. Oh, pandemic, we got to do this. We got to try this. And I said, I got to be different. Like, what can I do to be different? I don't need to try to be different. I'm already different if I do things this way. And so I just started to experiment with the designs that I used to do for flyers and postcards and things like that. So I wonder if I could make a website or a funnel look like a postcard or a flyer. Because, when people, like back in the day, I used to design the club flyers, and they would, go to the colleges and hand out all the flyers I used to design those. Well, the first thing is, when they look at that flyer, you want them to feel excitement. You want them to feel, the enticement. You want them to feel good, like, man, I need to be here, before they ever read a word. That was what I did. I designed that type of stuff. So I said, well, imagine if I could actually implement that into the funnels that I'm doing for my clients, because I wasn't even doing this for myself. I had a handful of clients, like it boutique. I
Mm-hmm.
can just work with those few and get them good results, and I was okay with that until the pandemic hits, and this shifts, that shifts. So I got to do something different, and so I started to experiment with that, and I got amazing results. Just switching over like a webinar page from just a standard think outside the box, meaning we do everything in boxes in digital marketing, right?
Mm.
You have the opt-in box, you have the picture at the top of the page, and then there's a square image at the top of the page, and then everything is done in boxes, right? But life doesn't happen in boxes. Life is moving. There's always something flowing, and so that's how I started to style my designs in general. Like I always like the flowing, the moving type of feel. So I said, well, let me see how I could translate this into a funnel, just using my imagination. Like you have to think outside of this layered step one or phase one, section one, section two of the builder. We kind of get
Mm-hmm.
locked into those things. And sometimes it just takes you pushing the envelopes of what that can do. Like CSS helps a little bit. I don't use a whole lot of it, but it helps when you can push margins a little bit and you can
Mm-hmm.
stretch things outside of their normal parameters.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotta you like it was weird. Something clicked when I just like, let me try this. And I thought it was like, this is not gonna be great. And then I shared it with the client and they were like, oh my gosh, do more. You know?
Well, I
So
think it's always been funny to me or shocking to me when working with clients and you see what they think is good or what they've done before, and it's like, show me what you're doing now, and you look at it and you're just like, what in what world would you think that this is professional or that this is going to entice somebody or excite somebody? And then you show them a professional design and they're like blown away, and it's so night and
night and
day.
day.
But yet we see professional things in TV and media all the time, but still people don't, like,
It
when they're
doesn't click.
putting it doesn't click. It's like, how did you think that this was going to work or that people will be excited about this? So I love design. I'm not a designer, but I admire designers so much, and I love that moment when you show a client a really nice design and they like light up, and it's like, yeah, and that's what's going to happen when we drive prospects to this page too.
And that's exactly the key. It's interesting because like, I'm grateful that a few people have reached out to me. They saw my designs and things like that. And um, people are afraid of certain things. Like to them, okay, this is converting good, so I don't want to do too much to it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's understandable because if you're getting a decent conversion rate, you don't want to mess that up.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell
Totally.
people though, what's your bounce rate look like? Like we don't usually look at that. We account for it in our numbers, but we don't really look at that and ask why is our bounce rate what it is. So when that I found out that design is the number one thing to lowering the bounce rate. When people go from whatever it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, organic, and you send them to a page, what they see before they ever read a word is going to determine whether or not they leave. What
Mm-hmm.
colors you use
Right.
matters. The flow of the page matters. These things all matter because before they ever read what you're offering, they see it.
And they feel it. You're right. When they
They,
hit the page,
they
yeah.
feel that. And so if they don't feel immediately calming, if they don't feel immediately excited,
Mm-hmm.
if they don't feel immediately, oh, this is trustworthy, then guess what happens? They bounce.
Right. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
the same goes for conversions. The pages convert a lot higher because people feel like the trust is won so much faster. They don't have to read through, a mile long of sales copy to feel like I trust this page to click this button and go to the next step. It just
Yeah.
the walls come down.
So the second thing that you mentioned was, um, space creates curiosity. which I absolutely loved because I feel like again, I'm not an artist, but I know a thing about or two about building a landing page. And I feel like when people ask me for help, the first thing that I do when I hop in is give elements room to breathe. I always say that, like, give that email capture a little room to breathe. Like, you got the headline and the subheading just jammed right up on it. Tell me about space.
Um, we don't like emptiness, right? It's a human, like I'm big on human psychology. I studied psychology and the colors and all this
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff like that. Space is a big deal. We don't like to feel like there's nothing there. So we always, in our minds naturally do it. It tries to fill in gaps, right? That's just a natural thing that humans do. So when we
Mm-hmm.
see something missing, we automatically try to fill in gaps. Well, when there's space on a page, and it literally forces them to scroll because they don't like the fact that there's nothing, like, if things are piled on top of each other, there's no guesswork, there's no question.
Mm-hmm.
It's just everything is right in my face, it's right there. I can read the top 3 lines and decide whether or not I want to move forward or not. That's all you got, 3 to 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But if in that first 3 seconds they're like, they see something that intrigues them, that makes them feel a certain way, but then there's nothing else by it, and they have to scroll down to see the next thing, it's like a natural inclination that I have to scroll because this is an incomplete message.
Mm-hmm.
It baffles me how it works, but it
Yeah.
does.
No, and it's so easy to point out. Like, I've always gone to Apple for stuff like that, and it's like when you show somebody an Apple
Clean.
design that's super clean, a lot of space, it's kind of counterintuitive to what people want to do. But as soon as you show it to them, it's like, how does that make you feel? It's like, oh wow, that's like professional and nice, and it feels like calming and
Absolutely.
relaxing. And so yeah, I love that. I give your elements space to breathe. And I do love what you said about, and I think this is going to flow into your third point, which was first impressions and branding tell a story just like good copy. And you mentioned that, and what you mentioned the flow. And I think space and flow can really go together, especially like when we talk about, okay, above the fold, right? What can you see when you hit a page without scrolling? Well, if I can't see anything of the section below, I might not ever scroll, right? So you want to make sure that your elements are flowing in between, right? So I think you mentioned that. Like, if I can see a bit of what's to come and that bit is intriguing to me, guess what I'm going to do?
Scroll. The finger
Right.
starts going because if, like, branding is big. I'm big on LinkedIn. Everybody's into personal branding and your brand,
Uh-huh.
your brand, your brand. But when you look at their funnels don't speak that language. Their funnels speak, I want you to buy something,
Mm.
right? And so when you start to design a funnel, think of a movie poster. You know, the movie poster, it gives them the theme of the movie that makes you want to watch the movie, or the McDonald's commercial, or the whoever brand you like. Those colors, the story that is told outside of the wording. You know, you already know the golden arches make you feel a certain way. Some people they
Mm-hmm.
want to vomit. Some people they want to go, they want to go and get a Big Mac, whatever it is. You know, whatever your favorite food is. When you see the, I'm a big steak guy. I got a favorite steakhouse over here. When I think of that name, your mouth starts, it starts watering. You get juicy thinking about a steak. If you,
Mm-hmm.
okay, say you don't eat meat, well, you might have a favorite vegan restaurant that your mouth starts to water when you see certain colors because it reminds you of that
Mm-hmm.
particular place. The same thing goes for the funnel. The imagery, the pictures, the colors all can tell just as much of a story as the words and the copy that you use. And what I realize is that oftentimes the copy is you know built up. There are copywriters out there that charge a fortune
Mm-hmm.
for the copy, but then when it comes to design, everybody is just like, oh, just make it look nice.
There's no
But
budget. Yeah.
but they don't realize that the design tells just as much of a story as the copy does. And when you have both of those elements in place, you have fantastic design and amazing copy. When I'm telling you, we've seen consistently conversion rates go up 40%. Now, some people say, "No, I'm not converting everything at 40%," but we had a webinar. Like I had a client who went from just a regular, box conversion page, was converting at like 22%. I built a funnel and designed the landing page for her, and we got 68% conversions just on a webinar page. And she asked me and then we went back. So then she asked me what happened? I was getting 60 and 70 and 80 signups for my webinars, and now I'm down to like 13 to 20 and whatever else. I said, well, we switched the pages back because she wanted to try something. I like this. Okay, not a problem. I'll show you it doesn't work.
Right.
That's kind of thing. But the conversion rate was like night and day, just with a little bit of a design. The copy wasn't any different, the same exact copy, but the webinar page was converting at 68%.
Now let me ask you a question, because another thing that that's always been baffling to me when working with clients when it comes to design, photography. People, again, it's like, do you have imagery? Yeah, I have imagery. And then what you get back, it's just like, again, it's like, don't you watch movies? Don't you watch commercials? How could you think that this is going to excite somebody? But photography can be hard, right? So talk to me about that. How do you work with clients when it comes to, but it sounds like you are a photographer, so you might do some of the work, right?
Yeah, I do. Like if I have if a client really wants the package, I do the whole package. I'll fly out and do a photo shoot. We'll do a video shoot and the whole nine.
Right.
But that's not like, that's not.
It's few and far between, right?
Yeah. And that's not a small amount of money
Sure.
but at the same time, the end result usually produces like you wouldn't believe. So it comes to investment. Like we'll invest in the software. We'll invest in the copywriter. But again, we won't invest in the design. We won't invest in the photographer and the videographer. Yes. Can you make a video with your cell phone? Absolutely. But there is a huge difference when you have a Sony Red capturing your image than iPhone 11. Don't get me wrong. An iPhone 11 will do great. A Samsung Galaxy, whatever, will do a nice little video. But I promise you, the human eye is very, very keen and can pick up on minute differences, and we don't pay attention to those things. But look at the biggest brands. Yes, does Gary Vee walk around with a cell phone? Yes, but he also has guys with cameras following him around.
Yeah, of course. And it's a mix of those shots. Well, the other thing that I feel like even in between, look, I mean, we have access to great stock photography nowadays, right? There's so many great sites, and you can do wonders with that. But even the difference between a great stock photo and a great real photo of the real client can make such a huge difference, right?
Well, it comes down to trust. Do you want your website to talk about, like, do you want them to feel comfortable with you, or do you want them to feel comfortable with just the idea of what you could do? Those are two entirely different spectrums. Take a dentist's office. When you have the dentist, their team, some of their clients, their pictures versus just generic photos, that's the difference. I mean, the conversion rates are going to be absolutely ridiculous because it's not like just a cookie cutter type of deal. People know the difference, especially with the way information is shared today, with everything at our fingertips. People can tell what's genuine and what's not. They can tell if this is just like a cookie cutter. I just copied and pasted this so I could have something up, or somebody who actually spent time, money, and energy on a design that really pulls people into their world and gives them a glimpse of what it is that they provide. Not the possibility of what you could get, but what we actually do. This is why testimonials work so well. The before and after pictures work so well on landing pages, because they tell that story of not what you could get, but here's what we do, and here's what you will get from us.
Let me ask you a question, just a personal curiosity. Has somebody built the Uber of photographers yet? So like you're working with a client in a different city and they're up for paying for photos. Are there any great networks like that where it's like, yeah, I'll get you the photographer, you know what I mean?
There are a few. Off the top of my head, I can't remember them because they don't do a great job at branding like that. I mean, they have a few networks out there, and if you like Google that, you can find a few of them. But again, like I said, they're not really big because creatives are looked at as like we're secondary or even tertiary when it comes to things. You know, when people think of a website, they think I need a web designer.
Hmm.
That's the first part.
Right.
If they know anything about marketing, they go and get a copywriter. But they don't. They're like a lot of web designers are not actual designers.
Of
They
course.
they've never made postcards, flyers. They've never made like the social media content posts and things like. They've never done that type of stuff. So they think in blocks. They think in ones and zeros. You know,
Hmm.
everything is linear. Everything is like this. Let's line this up. And yes, we have the rule of three. The threes and the sixes and nines, and we got all of these things that we can use, but they don't know how to make them fit together.
Hmm.
So
To tell the story, right?
exactly. So they usually just get caught up in the box. You get stuck in a box, literally. But no, as far as photography is concerned, um, there there are photographers everywhere. You can go on Facebook into like marketplace and find people who are good at taking pictures.
Mm.
I mean, that's just like, I lived in Missouri for about 8 years, and they had in the marketplace. I mean, there were a lot of military wives where I was at, and some of them took fantastic pictures, and they were not expensive. They were just looking for a hobby to do. Their husband was deployed or something, and
Hmm.
that all it was just typing in marketplace and finding a photographer to do a shoot for you for a couple $100.
Yeah.
That little difference will change everything about your funnel, your website, landing pages, whatever.
100%, right? And I think people watching, if you're stuck with a client, right, and maybe you're working on a funnel and it's just not, you can't get the numbers to work,
Yeah.
man, getting professional imagery is something I always like. What do the images look like? Can we get a local photographer over there? Because it almost guarantees a jump in conversion.
It
So
does. Absolutely. Hmm.
I know you have tons of designs and they're probably like your kids, but I do want to ask you, do you have a favorite one that you've done lately that you can show us?
Yeah, I mean, one got really good feedback, and I called it Savage. Let me see if I can pull it up here really quick. I gotta get back into where did I build it at? Okay, this is a close. Well, actually, I have two of them. I'll show you. Here's one that I'm doing. Let me pull up and I'll actually kind of walk through with you if you want my steps of what I do in designing. Let me see.
That'd be great.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. Okay, here's one I'm doing for a. This is what I'm doing for a dental. Actually, I got to change some of the pictures out. He just sent me new pictures today. Let me share my
Nice.
screen. Cool. There we go. All right. This is a design for a dentist or you call it like an Invisaligner,
Okay, yeah.
invisible liners.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, like this one, I use space and I like to use gradients. A
Mm.
lot of people use like the boxes, right? Where I'll show you. This is kind of how I do things. Like I lay things out on a piece of paper, and then once I get a general layout, I kind of map it out. So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll create a box here and cut her off, right?
Right.
And then I can move this to the back here just or whatever, but they'll cut her off, and that becomes the image, or that sets the tone for the rest of the funnel. But when you leave it open, this is how I like to do it. I use some gradients because then I can always export these as PNGs or whatever,
Hmm.
optimized PNGs. But now it creates a different flow because it literally it fades into the next thing.
Hmm.
So it creates a normal sense of, ooh, I want to see what's more. Um, like I said, I like this one just because of the colors. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
do
nice.
gradient buttons, and you see all of the space in between. Like you can't be afraid of that, guys. Like in fact, I probably would gap this a little bit more, like between the bottom here and the top of her head,
Hmm.
just because you want the experience. You want them to scroll. You don't want them to come here, just see something and stop. You want to see the top of her head.
Right.
Now Now they want to see what the rest of her looks like. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
there's more. Oh, wait, the top of his head pops up. Oh, wait, the top of their head pops up. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a sequence of events that you can take your prospects or your the visitors down, where they feel like they have to keep clicking to get the whole story. And then once they get to the bottom, there's just more now testimonials, more pictures. Everything
Mm-hmm.
is pointing to clicking the button.
The other thing that I love is the call to action is consistent. There's one, right? I don't want to say I hate, but when I work with people, I always say, look, you have too many different call to actions. What do you want them to do? You can't have it, don't give them three options, give them one and repeat it.
That's the biggest thing that I get. I want them to go here, and then I want them to see this too. And I'm like, I said, you can't do it. Your conversions
But
are automatically going to be cut in half. Like nobody wants to see that. nobody,
yeah.
nobody's going to look at that. And I'll show you. I got one more that I did for. I'll show you inside actually. This is inside Go High Level or High Level, so that.
Oh, while you're doing that, it looks like someone in the community, George, put in Snapper, SNAPRR. I'm assuming that's a network
Oh,
like
okay.
I
Yeah,
was
that's one of
asking
those
about.
networks.
Cool. I'll have to
Yes,
check that
I
out.
agree.
Thanks, George.
Yeah, appreciate that. Okay,
And
here's
Jimmy asked a good question. He said, I
yeah.
love your spacing conversation. How do you handle mobile?
Mobile, you don't use as much space. That's the thing about mobile. The difference in somebody who's looking at desktop and then somebody who's looking at mobile is
Hmm.
people on mobile are usually their speed. They're not looking for the they're not looking for the experience. They're looking for what they're looking for. So whatever your landing page is selling,
Get
usually
me to
people
it as
will,
fast as possible, right?
yeah, they're like scroll through. So I actually optimize all of these pages where when I go to mobile, I do a lot of this. Like I put pictures behind things
Hmm.
or use them smaller. So that way, as they scroll through, like this is a heavy picture, one, because it's about body and fitness. So you got to show the pictures on mobile. But there are other things that are not as important. This picture just adds to the feeling. I like the red stripes, not quite blood, but the fierceness of the exercise, the determination. That's what red inspires. It creates that excitement about these things. And you see the kickboxing guys,
Totally.
big bodies.
It's a mood for sure.
So it creates that, and it makes you want to work out. Seeing these people with this and the only thing you can click on is click to sign up or register today. Download the whatever the case may be. But if you notice, there's a lot less space in between because I don't want them to take. I don't want it to be too much time before they see another button.
Yep. And I'm
Like
going to extrapolate what you're saying here because I think everybody needs to hear this. Mobile is its own experience, right? You can't
separate.
just build something in the desktop view and then rely on the dynamic resizing or what am I talking? The responsive design to do its thing. That's not going to lead to a good mobile experience.
It doesn't. Now, like I said, desktop. This one I did this on purpose. It's just a opt-in box. If they don't scroll anywhere else, this creates a feeling. This right here, automatic people will either sign up or they won't, right? So when they start scrolling, now I'm telling them why they need to sign up. Ultimate weight loss system. Here's another picture that confirms the first picture, which is kickboxing. So that's all I'm doing now. Okay, kicking. The results speak for themselves. Here's before and after pictures of people who took the class, blah, blah, blah. And now we're just getting into this is what happens in our classes. Boom. You burn up to 900 calories. You relieve stress. Click. Everything is click to sign up. That's it. You just want to start hammering sign up, sign up, sign up. That's really the only message that this page should be saying is sign up
Mm-hmm.
and then why you should sign up. You relieve stress. You have fun getting in shape. Sign up. Here's what our clients have to say. Sign up. Like you're missing out. They're doing this. So I like to especially use the full width of the desktop. See how the pictures go all the way to the edge.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes they this one goes to the edge. I like to use, like I said,
Use the full canvas.
use the entire thing. Get outside of, like I said, that boxiness feeling that I have to have a line separating every section that I have on my page,
Hmm.
because you want the content, like the text, you want the images and the buttons to do that for you.
Right.
So
Makes
you
total
don't
sense.
you don't need
How
all
many of
this.
these, how many different industries have you covered so far, would you say?
Quite a few. Let me see if I can pull up. I'm gonna pull up the ones that I did just recently. I'm gonna pull up my most recent ones if I can get to them all here.
So while you're bringing that up, you mentioned that you've got a something for the high level community, right?
Yes. Well, I started posting some pictures, and I honestly, I just I just wanted to get some feedback, guys. I'm just being honest. I wanted to see, because I know, like in ClickFunnels, there's a lot of people out there that are building nice, awesome ClickFunnels stuff, and I'm like, man, this software is way better than ClickFunnels. This gives you so much more. So that's what made me come to HighLevel. I was like, man, this is way better. I get way more for the money. Like, and I just like the diversity that it offers. And so I said, well, let me offer this to my clients. I started building the funnels, and my clients loved it. I said, well, I wonder what, like, I don't see a whole lot of funnels being posted in the HighLevel community. So I just want to know what people think. Like, I mean, this is actually possible in the funnel builder.
Yeah.
I didn't know it until I started experimenting, literally. Started playing around with certain things. And so once that was the case, that was it. It was like, oh, like the floodgates opened up. So what I wanted to do is I have a couple people who reached out for like custom work and wanted like basic templates and things like that. But I'm actually going to be designing what I call a template club. It's back here. It's called the Funnel Collective. I just built the page for it, and I wanted to offer that to the community. That rather than, like, everybody doesn't need a custom build. Everybody doesn't want to spend the money on a custom build, and I think this is a great community. Like, there's hundreds of people being added every single week. Uh, there's more than enough work for everybody, as far as agency owners and anybody who's using the HighLevel system. So I just said, my way of helping out, which is really a help out, is I wanted to create a type of like a template library. So I'll build some templates, and if you want them, you can have access to them. If they don't want them, it's it was literally an accident. Like, here's a funnel I did, and everybody was like, "Hey, what's your prices?" Some didn't want to spend as much as I wanted to charge, and that's fine. That's just the nature of business. You look to get the lowest, so you can make a profit. That's what we do. But I
Well, so
wanted to
what's the
offer.
cost of the collective? And yeah, and you mentioned that you had an offer, like a code for the high level community to use, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to be offering this at $397 a month, but I had a code for the HighLevel community, which is just real simple. Go HighLevel. If you want to get access to that, I do have a link available. You can reach out to me after the call, or put it in the comments. If I don't know how you guys do this.
Yeah, 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 definitely. What
All
is the
right.
link? We'll make sure to put it in the
Uh,
description.
the link is thefunnelcollective.com/club. That's it.
The funnel collective.
Thefunnelcollective.com/club.
Awesome.
And it looks like this. And if they go there, they put in go HighLevel in the coupon code, then they're going to get 50% off. So I'll be doing this. Anybody who gets in will get access to this. They'll be grandfathered in at the 147, basically like 147 a month. And they'll get access to 5 templates. I'll be doing templates for 5 different industries every single month. And then I'll probably throw in a couple of extra ones just because I'm nice. I like to give. But if anybody signs up today, what I'm going to do is I'll throw in an extra 5 templates. So they'll be getting templates for $147. I do have a
Very
bump.
cool.
Yeah, I have a bump offer if you want. I call it like my brand is going to be the 24 karat funnels. I just bought
Nice.
the name.
That's cool.
Yeah. So if you want the 24 karat service, then they can, kind of like hire me. They can pay for a 6-month subscription, like it's a bump for $997, and they basically get me as I do custom work on those funnels. So if they want custom upgrades for the next 6 months, then if they sign up, I'll do the custom upgrades for them at no additional fee outside of that. And yeah, I mean, if they want it, great. I'll be
Awesome.
more than happy to work with them. But yeah, I just wanted to help out the community a little bit. So 147 guys, you get if you sign up today, you'll get 10 funnel templates. After today, you'll get the 5 for the month, but you'll be grandfathered in at 147, and then it'll go up to 297.
Very cool. All right, Wayne. Well, I don't want to keep you too long, and it looks like people are starting to ask questions over in Facebook. So
Cool, man.
hop over there. They're asking for links. Make sure that they get them. But thanks again for coming on.
Absolutely. I really do appreciate this. And guys, like I said, this is an honor. It's a privilege. Thank you so much for making such a great piece of software, for building such an amazing community. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. I'm enjoying every moment of this.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Wayne. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.